All right, I met a couple of you guys. Hi, welcome. Nice to meet you. My name is Josh. I'm with the Carpet Repair Guys, and I'm based out of Santa Clara, California. We're working with a shop product today.
Right in my area.
Right on.
San Ramon, California, yeah. So.
Okay, John.
Yep.
Have we talked before?
No, we haven't, so we will.
Okay, right on. The detail master. Okay, so nice to see someone close to home. And I'm sure, how many of you have done carpet bonded inserts repairs? Okay, so some new, some have been here. You know, you talk to the guys around here, there's a lot of different ways to do these. So by all means, this isn't the only way. In fact, with what they gave me to work with, we're going DIY, baby.
Oh yeah!
Okay? So this is gonna be my row finder, and then I've got a utility blade. We do have from the low end to the high end. How many of you have a Cool Glide? All right, yeah, I'm a fan of the Cool Glide. You know, there's pros and cons with either. Hot Melt, the Black & Decker steamer, but we're gonna use the Cool Glide. Here's gonna be your typical type of damage, especially carpet cleaners. You're going to a house, you're cleaning the carpet, and the customer says, hey, my cat got at the doorway, the dog ripped a hole, can we take care of it? Most of the time, they're not gonna have that extra carpet. I mean, that's gonna be the key. When I do these repairs, people always ask, where do you get the extra carpet? That's the $1 million question. So if you don't have it, the quick, easy answer is there's gonna be the lesser of two evils from a place, typically like a closet. You can grab what you need from there. And for me, I collect a few dozen remnants that I have in my truck at all times. My customers send me a picture of the carpet prior to going out. I'd like to be prepared if possible. And my standard is I'm gonna put the closest thing I have back in your closet. And if at any point you find similar carpet that's a better match, give me a call. And maybe for a trip charge or something, I'll come back out and switch it. Whenever you do these, you want to use the same dial-out because you want the repair to look as good as you can. And how many of you guys know you're out there? That's just the half of it. Like my man Thomas was saying, you want to make this realistic, take this piece outside and you beat it up, you step on it, you rub dirt in it. Because right now we're working with new carpet and new carpet, okay? That's the easiest type of repair that you can get. Most on the job, you are dealing with worn, matted material, and then you're putting that closet piece, or if they did save some, you're using new material going in. The other thing we fight a lot is sunlight damage, right? That sun is no joke. It's gonna lighten, especially by screen doors, and I find by chlorine pools in apartments, it basically rubs that carpet basically next to nothing. So those are things that as a technician doing a repair, you're gonna wanna be aware of before you start cutting up the carpet, right? No one wants to cut a carpet and then be liable for it. So what I'm gonna try to do here is isolate the area. We got a pattern match carpet. You wanna make sure that your donor piece is going the same direction. This carpet's really easy to see. You probably see it's going smooth or with the material down. And then we're going ruffled here. If you're looking at the back of the carpet, you've got these lines that help as well. And we can see that we have, these shop products always have the 3 lines followed by the single. You can make sure that they're matched up that way. Okay, what I like to do, if I can position this, let me pinch this here. Okay, so what I personally like to do is cut out my damage first. And then I'm gonna use that as a template, especially on a pattern carpet, have a lot more room to work with on the fill, okay? So, if you have any questions at this point, I'm gonna try to concentrate with this little pocket knife and try to separate my rows. What I'm doing as I'm figuring this out, you guys see this pattern? We got a chevron pattern going all different, lines everywhere, okay? So, for me, the vertices or the intersection point, that's kind of where my eyes see an easy break in the pattern. So that's kind of where I'm gonna put run my row here. So I see, and with more worn carpet, this is even more difficult to separate, but you're gonna take your time and separate the rows on the left and right side. I usually use an awl that's kind of worn down, not as sharp. Otherwise, when you do this, that awl is going to want to stick into the backing. You can try that too. People use, yeah, there's a few different ways. I've seen guys use pens. We got a regular screwdriver here. There you go. And you're trying to make that line visible. Now I like a cushion back top cutter, and I always extend my line further. People who watch my videos think, why do you cut so much of the carpet? I'm just running a track for my tool. But people think you're cutting the carpet way beyond the damage area. But for what we have here, I've got the razor blade here. I normally try to mark my line first before I cut. So I've got my line here, and that's what I'm thinking of right now, is where is the easiest point to break the pattern to make it easier to line up here. So next I'm gonna go back here, and I see this right here. Let's try to separate it.
We gave you an easy carpet today, huh?
Oh yeah, well, we like a challenge. So what I like about, as I've done some of the training, and I've done IICRC, years into doing carpet repair, I bought Barry Costa's DVD set, as an homage, and watched it right there. And what I found is a wealth of information. But what I find personally in experience, I'm dealing with more tufted carpets, just cheap cut pile plush in apartments where the tenants have a lot of pets. That's what you're fixing. You can get a little overwhelmed if you start this and go, oh, the Axminsters, the Weltons, and what most of our carpets are going to be cut pile. You're going to have some loops and Berbers. So you practice and do some of this if you're unfamiliar with it. You got a couple $100 laying on the ground that you can just add on to your carpet cleaning business. So, and you're going to make that customer thrilled. So what we want to do after we separate some rows here, now we're going to go in the cross direction. Okay. For me, again, different ways to do it. I still like using an awl, and I can kind of find and take my time to get the row. So I'm going to try to go at the top of this mark here. And sometimes your cross direction, you can separate easier. Okay, and then I see it stop right here. Okay, so I don't know if you can make out those lines, but I have so far the rows and columns separated. Some guys would use a cookie cutter here and go circular. I've always been a fan of the linear, the length and the width. So I'm going to take this in. I got a sharp blade. Kind of using some expertise going in with this. Again, I would recommend using a top cutter. It's a lot easier to get a good cut and stay in your line, in your groove. Okay.
That's experience.
Look at that. There we go. Okay. Hold for applause. Okay, thank you.
Nice.
All right, so now here's the hard part, right? Now we're going to take this. We're making sure the carpet's going the same direction, right? How many of you have been on the job and you've done a patch of a patch? Oh, yeah. You'll see that carpet going this way, this way. So it's really important. I always told my guys that I train the 4 C's. The first 2 being cut. Cut's the most important. If you want your repair to look good, you have to have that cut. You don't want to be shearing the pile of that carpet and have it cut, in the middle. And you want that backing. You don't want to see a ton of backing because that's going to create more of a line of visibility. And again, your main concern are your seam edges here. Okay. And I will say about Shaw, working with this product is pretty nice so far. Okay, we got a nice dense piece. And I'm looking pretty good on all my rows. At this point, you're gonna either make the commitment now to use this and match up, or sometimes you get your scissors, you see that backing sticking out a little bit more, you're gonna go and dress it up a little bit. Maybe you see a loose strand or something, you're gonna give it a little snip, okay? So there you go. Now, without a pattern, sometimes if it's small enough, typically within a few inches, and depending how square your cut was, I'll just go on the back and as a template cut out, right? How many of you ever done that? You do that. But for something like this, you want to make sure that pattern's matched up. So here's the hard part, okay? This is where it gets a little tricky. Some patterns are easier to spot. I like those little square patterns. Piece of cake. All right, this one here, I had looked at it and kind of eyeballed it before. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna cheat. Here's my, you see that? So I know if I line this up here, uh-oh, I'm gonna be close. I don't know, that may not make it. But now I can see here, see these are lined up here. Okay, I'm gonna go for it, guys. I think I'm gonna make it. Here we go. So, what I got here, I'm looking at these arrows on this, here we go. See, this is where my eyes easily spotted the break-in pattern. So let's see if I can just go all the way down. Okay. And then this side I think is so close, so I'm going to be careful. I'm going to probably nibble that away with my scissors. And then here, what I'm going to do is just commit to cutting this first. This is where I'd get a scrap piece of carpet. Sometimes I'll use my cutout. You know, you never want to cut really on top of the carpet, right? You want to protect it. So I get the advantage of going right here. So let me cut this here. Okay, so what I'm hoping is I've got a good line here, and now I want to try to line up where this pattern ends. Comes to a point and a point, so I can see the point there. Anybody have any questions right now while I'm working on this? Any questions? You guys probably can't see. I'm looking at this line here, making sure I got a little bit more coming here. Once you line up two sides, of course, you're gold. Once you line those up, it's much easier to get the other two. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna be happy with that right there. Okay. Here goes nothing. Okay. How's that look down there?
Nice.
Is it okay? Okay.
Very nice.
So I got a little bit of a lip here. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll work on that. I'm going to cut myself a little extra.
Pattern matches.
The pattern matches from here.
Oh, good. Okay. So maybe use this now so we can cut the rest of this. Now again, here's where, depending on the size, you could almost take this and go right here. So technically, this is the way it's going. When you're dealing with something all cut up like that, again, that could be hard, right? There's a little wiggle room here. So, I don't have a measuring tape. A lot of times I'll just take my measuring tape, right? And I'll measure from here, and then I'll cut it. What I find is the bigger the patch, I'll cut it intentionally shy. Now, if it's a pattern, you want to stay on pattern. You'll find, especially after a foot or two, now you're tweaking it left and right, up and down, because that pattern is going to be skewed. It's going to be off, right? So you're going to have to stretch. I like this crane seam squeezers. Have you ever seen those? You can clamp, and once you set one side, let it dry, then you can move and manipulate the carpet, use a kicker. We're talking something about a foot, 2 feet or more, okay? These small ones, you're just gonna manipulate. All right, so let's get to it, right? Yeah, I think I got enough here where I'm gonna try. We're all home folk here, so let's just do this. I'm gonna base it off here.
I believe in you, Josh.
Okay. Now again, we all understand if this isn't perfectly square, then you're going to be opposite of what you want to go back here. And I feel this is a little shy and this is a little longer. So sometimes I'll just make a little adjustment and cut a little bit more. And then we can do a dry fit, test it, come back and scissor. I think I'm going to be done with the razor blade. Here's where I gotta get with it here. Okay, so we liked how it looked here. I'm gonna pinch up. I'm a little snug. Again, if you leave it too much, you're gonna have that pucker and that ripple. You know, it's not gonna look as good for the customer.
It's lining up here.
Yeah, we're a little high.
Down
So
on the bottom, on top.
what I like to do again, this is where you got to be careful, right? We don't want to cut through the shear the pile. So at an angle, we're going to come back here, and we're going to cut the backing. Try to keep that seam edge nice. Again, normally no one's staring at you and watching you, so there's no rush. So you take your time.
It's lined up.
We're looking lined up there.
Yep.
Okay, I guess I
That
feel
feels good.
I feel like I still got a little bit. And sometimes, normally the smaller it's not as important, but the larger, you may have to lift it and disengage the carpet, depending where the patch is. Give it a stretch, right after you're done.
And here, there's no tension on the carpet either,
Right.
so you're kind of working the fact there's no pull.
Right, I'm just gonna nibble just a little bit more away. I feel like once you kind of have this kind of pattern, you probably have a good 1/16 of an inch threshold where, unless they're really staring at it, they're probably not gonna notice it being off ever so slightly. Okay, I like how that feels a little bit better there. So now I just gotta come back. I have probably 3/16. Again, with a pattern, if I took the time and had a top cutter, I still like to go and row cut and do it from that end.
What are you going to charge for a repair like this?
Beat me to it.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, in my area, I have a 225 minimum. Some guys 250. That's not unheard of. People will pay it. If I'm doing 6 of these, I'll probably charge about 75 up to maybe even $100. It depends if they have extra carpet or not. So again, there's some really good money in this. Also depends on your area. If the guys in San Ramon are going to give you a little bit of work now and then, if they don't take it all from you. We both service the same area. I am in San Ramon,
Nice.
but I'm based out of Santa Clara, so I'll go about an hour
Yeah,
radius.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, I learned the trade from my dad, and 11 years ago, I went full-time with repairs because no one was doing them.
Yes.
And there's a lot of money to be made in it, and a lot of customers are super happy. You take care of this after most stores say, no, it can't be done, you don't have the carpet, we don't want to touch it, it's out of warranty, all the excuses. You come in and save the day, people are thrilled, right? And I've been full-time with repairing 11 years. I've never gotten into cleaning, just installer guy. So most of my installers, they don't want to touch this stuff. Maybe a side job or something, but like I say, I think there's an untapped market here for repairs, especially with pets. You guys do a lot of burn repairs?
Burn repairs, pets, transitions wearing out.
Yeah. I got all my contractors who call me for their new tile or hardwood to carpet. They pay all this money, they don't have any left, they're gonna keep the carpet, but now they need to finish that edge off on the tile.
Yep.
And you've seen them just try to put it down without any tack strip or something.
Giant bead of glue.
Yeah, right. All right, so the key, couple quick tips with the Cool Glide, and I'll get on my way here, is if you're not careful, you can burn the tape, you can burn to the padding, so you gotta be sensitive with that. I find most of my material on low works. If you're dealing with tape that's kind of, I'm gonna use regular, but if you're on tack strip or maybe half the size of the tape, you wanna use the T setting on your Cool Glide. Something like this, I'll fold it.
This is actually Barry's iron.
Oh, right on.
Barry Costello, his iron product. It's the last one.
Oh, very nice.
Where's Barry?
He's overrunning the flood house.
I would like to meet him and shake his hand. Okay, so I set this here. We don't have any latex or hot melt, but now would be the time that you could apply. I would say this about latex: less is more. This is where so many guys go wrong, I feel. We don't want that patch to come up when we vacuum or carpet clean, so we're gonna overdo that glue. Well, what happens? By the time you put this bonded insert in, that glue is oozing up and getting out all around your beautiful seamed tufts. What's gonna happen? It's gonna suck those fibers down. Now you got a hard spot and a visible perimeter. You don't want that. All this work for that? Okay, so you have that latex, you feed that in.
If you weren't being watched, how long would it take you to do this?
I'd probably be able to knock this out in probably 5-7 minutes. All right, everybody. So here's where we're just gonna, this is the nice part with the Cool Glide. We're gonna turn it on. We could work on half of it, take our time. We don't have to rush with hot glue, right? Hot glue, you gotta work quick. We want it to set and get into that backing. Don't bury your pile. My dad would always tell me no gaps and no laps. Don't overlap that backing and don't gap it, right? And that goes to that first C that I always tell my guys. The cut is so important. You want a nice tight cut.
No,
And honestly, we're pretty much done with that. If it was worn, after I repair it, I would do some conditioning. Get a pumice rock. I've taken the patch outside and rubbed it on concrete. Carpet cleaners, close your ears. I've rubbed dirt on it, okay? Because my job is to make the patch look like nothing happened. And at that point, the customer can go in and clean it and blend everything in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it. We got our lines here. Go halfway. And if you've never seen the Cool Glide, you press the button. There is a thermal tape with aluminum, so the metallic is going to get activated by induction through the iron, and that's what melts that tape. Okay, so there you go. That's already done. I don't have a roller, so let's go to baking class. Here we go. We're just going to work that carpet in. Use your hand. You'll feel the heat from it. So I'm a fan of the tractor roller. I know some guys are like, why do you use that? You just use a smooth. If you're careful, I like the tractor roller. Again, part of that conditioning. You're normally working with new fiber, or working with old, and you're putting new in. Can't make the old new, but you can make the new old, right? A seamer down would be a good tool to put down here, especially if you're going to stretch after. Okay, and again, like a hot glue gun, it doesn't take long. That thermal glue is going to melt pretty quick. So we'll do the other half. Anyone working with this, if you see a bunch of smoke start coming up, you know to pull the iron off right away. You did something wrong, or maybe it's a little offset. Okay. So Okay, what's the largest patch I've done? I've done patches over 10 feet long. Those are going to be more so your remodel jobs. High-end house, customer has a lot of material. It's going to be thousands to replace. They removed the desk. There's a roll of carpet in the garage. Cut it, section it, patch that, right? Most of my jobs are within a square foot. Most of the culprits are pets, dogs and cats. So if you live in an area where you have apartments, I guarantee you've probably seen maybe that stubborn stain that won't come out, a burn, a hole, plenty of bleach if you die, or if it's the material's not compatible, you can always patch. You give that, I always tell the customers, give it 2 hours, walk on it, vacuum, carpet clean, and there you go. That's permanent sectioning.
Where is it? Nice job.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.